Hey everyone, Aladdin's Castle here. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Hope everybody had a good year so far, 2023. But it's 2024. Today I brought you guys a first place locals deck. It is a take on the Mufasa wheel deck that's been going around lately, except my version is Amber and Amethyst. So I took this to locals on Friday. I went undefeated there, and then I took it on Monday and I also went undefeated there. So 8-0 with the deck, so it's pretty good. I'm surprised for the performance. I'm excited to show you guys because maybe you guys can kind of tinker around with it and kind of maybe evolve it from here. But my matchups were 3 Pawpsicle decks, one Amber Steel, 1 Emerald Sapphire, 1 Amethyst Steel, and 2 Ruby Mufasa decks. So I was able to get Ruby Amber Mufasa decks. So I was able to get through all of them. But hopefully you guys can take a look at this and use it as like a guideline and build from there. So let's go ahead and go with the deck profile. So first off, I run 4 Stitches. He evolves into 6-drop Stitch Rockstar. He's just a solid opener that you want to have early in the game. Then I run 3 Olafs. That 3 strength or that 3 defense is so hard to push through. So when you start off with him, he's just really strong for that aggro push. 2 cost, I run 4 Yzma, mostly because I could shift into the big Yzma, and this is kind of like a cheesy play whenever you quest with this character. You can look at the top card of your deck and put it to the top or bottom, so you can kind of filter your cards through the Mufasa engine, so you can kind of see what's coming up on top of your deck, which is pretty nice. Happens a little bit. Then I run 3 Snow Whites. I like her for her stat line. She's similar to Simba, but she also heals up to 2 damage, so she could heal up like your Olafs or stuff early or late game. I don't run the bigger Snow Whites. I tried her in the deck. She felt kind of slow, but you could always use her in the deck too because the effect is just so good. And I run 3 Lanterns. Lantern's one of your main ways to get out your bigger drops. So you want to drop this on turn 2 so that you can play your bigger cards early or shift into Rockstar Stitch early as well. That's also another classic play. Onto the 3 costs, I run 4 Dock. This is your other card that helps you play your bigger boss monsters early. Whenever you quest, you could pay 1 less for the next character card you play. So you just swing with Dock. You have Lantern out, that you can play your 5 cost character for basically less energy or less ink. Then this is an Amethyst deck, so there are some bounce mechanics in here. I didn't want to go too hardcore with the bounce because your Mufasa could top deck one of these cards and then you'll have to unfortunately banish or banish that card. So you're kind of losing momentum there, so I don't run too much, but Fox is just too good not to run. It replaces all your early cards and could bounce back your mid to late game cards so you can play them again, and it just has rush and the stats are just too good not to play. Then I ran 3 Crab. Crabs helped out in so many games, so many matchups where it was challenging like some of my lower cost attack characters and kind of just going 5, 6, 7 attack with them. So Crab's really good. Just your opponent may think twice about challenging it because then your other characters can plus out of it. Then I run 3 Maleficents. I don't run Friends on the Other Side. I did test it out a couple times and I didn't like it because I saw it too many times from the Mufasa top deck. It still draws you a card, and there's plenty of ways in this deck that draws cards too as well. But being able to draw, and it's just still a solid card. 4 cost, 4 Rapunzels. This is one of your main draw engine. It doesn't really change. I mean, Rapunzel's still just as good. You have some of your bigger cards with like high defense, and you just heal them. You can top deck this card with Mufasa and heal your characters too and draw on their turn. So, kind of cheesy, but she's just really, really powerful. Next, it's a Goat for the reason. Merlin Goat's won me so many games. Just being able to play it, gain a lore, bouncing it back with Fox, gain another lore, or even top decking it with Mufasa is just so good. And just being able to replace itself and getting a lore is super, super strong. And the 4 strength is also really powerful too. I only ran 2 rabbits, mostly because there's a lot of uninkables in this deck. I think maybe 12 or 14 13, I can't remember, but it's a solid card. You can draw a card, and when it leaves play, you can also draw another, so you can do some bounce effects too. That's the whole point of the Merlin package. And then I run the Hades loop. I like this better than Snow White because you get an immediate effect, versus Snow White you have to wait a turn to quest and then you get your discard pile. So this is like immediate effects. So you can bring back all your pieces that you lose or that your opponent gets rid of. So Hades is really, really strong. Then the obviously main card of the deck is the Mufasa card. While this character is banished, you may reveal the top card of your deck, and then if it's a character card, you can play it for free in rest mode, aka exerted. So you can just do that and get the effects of your other cards. It's basically a high gamble deck, but there's plenty of times where I hit like my 3 lore characters, my draw power, my lore power. So it can win you a lot of games. And sometimes your opponent doesn't want to challenge this character because then it's like, what if they get a crazy character card that they want? So it makes your opponent play a little weird because they don't want to have you get the benefit of Mufasa. 6 costs, I run Rockstar Stitch. Still a very solid card. It can still draw you some cards later in the game. And if you get this early, you're just you're questing for 3. Your opponent has to really answer this early. And you can also hit this off of your Mufasa and quest for another 3 pretty easily. So it's a good card. Then I run 3 Yzma. Yzma is really powerful. You can shuffle in a character card and that player draws 2. So you could either do it to your own to bounce back like your important pieces or your goats to gain lore, or you could shuffle a really problematic card on your opponent's side. If you're playing it's like a mirror, like Mufasa, you could shuffle it in so it doesn't get that banish effect. Really powerful cards that have like strong defense too. It's really powerful, and you can shift her for 4. So she's just a very solid card. So yeah, they draw 2, but then they lose the momentum on their board. Speaking of drawing 2, Stitch, Surfer. He's still very powerful, being able to draw 2 cards. You're more than likely at least able to have 2 cards on the field with your characters. And then you can, again, Mufasa this into play, and it has so much defense that it's hard for your opponent to get rid of. Then I run 2 Ursulas. This card is also very powerful, 8 defense. They lose a lore, you draw a card, so in those close matchups, that lore really matters. And if they don't get rid of this, it's really hard for your opponent to get rid of unless they have like hard removal.
Can you make me a prince?
And finally, 3 Elsas. This card has won me so many games. I know it's really good against certain matchups, but even in the Mufasa deck, if you're able to just top deck this one and put it in play, like say that your opponent decides to challenge your Mufasa, and then you top deck this, and then you get to exert their other characters, then they can't really quest for the turn, so they kind of lose it. That doesn't happen often, but it's just an example of what can happen. And then just being able to obviously exert your opponent's characters and they can't ready the next turn is also very powerful. You could challenge the next turn or whatever have you, whatever you want to do with that. So, but yeah, that is the deck. You guys could try it out, see how you guys like it. It was really powerful. It was, you kind of play it very controlly in the beginning. It's not as aggro as the Ruby Amber version, but you kind of challenge their characters early, and then kind of hoping to bounce back package with goats and foxes, and then finishing off with like your 3 lore characters. So it's kind of like a mid-range, I guess I should say, mid-range to control deck. Like you can definitely be aggro with like that goat package and kind of bouncing things back and forth with the 3 lore characters. So, but yeah, hope you guys like it. Rate, comment, subscribe if you guys aren't subscribed already. Trying to get to 200 subs, do some giveaways, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.